Okay. Now today we would be talking about the most common PowerPoint mistakes that we usually encounter in our daily lives. And these PowerPoint mistakes are so very common and so very irritating that, once you display them to your audience, the first impression is, even if you haven't started your presentation, they would not be continuing with it because, in the first instance, they would realize that you are not presentation savvy or you're not PowerPoint savvy. You have no idea how to present on PowerPoint, right? So today we'll be discussing some common PowerPoint mistakes, and along with that, we would be discussing how we should be improving them or how we should be modifying them. The first PowerPoint mistake that people usually commit is that they put everything on the slide. Here, the presentation slide that is being displayed to you is an example of it. Let's read it out. People tend to put every word they're going to say on the PowerPoint slide. Although this eliminates the need to memorize your talk, but ultimately it also makes your slides crowded, wordy, and boring. You lose your audience's attention before you reach the bottom of the first slide. Now, this was just an example, and whatever I wanted to say, I just put it down on the PowerPoint slide. Now, there could have been so much that you could have edited, you could have, cut, and then you could have presented on the slide. So the first basic thing that we get out of this PowerPoint slide that is displayed on your screen is never place a paragraph on the slide. Because the more data in the form of text you're going to present to your audience, they would become more distracted or they would lose their attention. And we don't want that. We just want to give them, it's a human psychology. Let's not, go into the very depth of PowerPoint slides, you might say formulas. Let's talk about that it's human psychology, that a human mind cannot digest a lot of words displayed to him in one, you might say in one sitting. But what we are doing is we are doing the same exactly. So we're going to apply the same psychology over here. We are not going to bombard the audience with a lot of text on the slide. And I'm sure most of you would have been a victim of this kind of slides by your professors or by your presenters. But this is such an outdated methodology now. It's not considered effective in corporate sector and in any sector, by the way. Let's not, drag this corporate sector inside it. So this is not a professional way to present your data. So rule number 1, do not present a paragraph on the slide. Number 2, whenever you are finalizing your slide, always spell check. Now I would like to give you a minute, read this slide out and identify the mistakes. So how many mistakes did you identify? Just write the number. Write the number in the chat. Write the number in the chat. How many mistakes were you able to identify? Were there 3 mistakes, 4 mistakes, 2 mistakes? How many? Right. Good job. Well, many of you already done with the activity. That's good. Well, by reading the slide, you must have identified how or what amount of a big sin it is to commit a spelling mistake or a grammatical mistake on the slide. Let me tell you today something scientifically proven, that nothing can harm your reputation more than a slide with a spelling mistake or a grammatical mistake. Now, spelling mistakes can always be checked very easily by a spell check, right? So what you want to do is you can always run a spell check on that. Microsoft Word has that facility. Run spell check and you will get the idea of which spelling mistake is there. There's also one more website known as Grammarly. Grammarly, Grammarly.com. So next time when you are writing a document or when you are making a PowerPoint slide and you're not sure of the grammatical structure, run that website or run that software tool. It's known as Grammarly.com. And you'll be able to identify even your grammatical structures. Now, talking about wrong grammatical structures. Now, talking about spelling mistakes, they are not that big, you might say, problem. But the problem arises when people make some very basic grammatical mistakes. And of course, I cannot give you a whole session on that, but I would like to talk about some 2 or 3 very basic grammatical mistakes. Some people, in fact, most of the people have no idea of the relationship of subject and verb or of the compatibility of subject and verb. What do I mean by that? They say they, does, or you might say they use plural verb with plural noun. The correct thing is when you're saying he, she, it, you're going to use verb with an S. He, she, it eats. And when you're using a plural noun, you're going to use a single verb, like they don't, or they eat. We sleep. It's not we sleeps or they sleeps. It is not like that, right? So this is the number one basic grammatical mistake most of the people make. They do not show the compatibility of noun with the verb. They make a mistake in that. Second grammatical mistake most of the people make, they do not use first form of, for example, most of the people make this mistake. They did not ate or they did not slept, right? Now this is a wrong grammatical structure. They did not slept. Whenever you're going to use did, you're going to use first form of verb. They did not sleep. They did not work. Although you're talking in the past tense, but you are not going to use past verb. You're going to use present verb, first form of verb. Right? Now, these are 2 very common mistakes that people commit when they are writing anything on the PowerPoint or when they are speaking. So kindly do avoid making this mistake because, if you are going to commit these 2 kinds of mistakes, I'm sorry, hell is going to be open on you. No one is going to trust you. So make sure you're avoiding these 2, right? Now, in this slide, the mistakes that we can actually confront is spell check. The word is spell check. The student has used spell check. Big mistake. He is missing. Nothing makes the speaker look stupider. Spelling of stupider is incorrect. Then spelling errors. Spelling of errors is incorrect. I could hear somebody's mic is still on. Please turn it off, Piche. Please turn off your mics, everybody. Thank you. Let's move on to next mistake. So mistake number 1 was, could somebody recall? Mistake number 1 was do not put a paragraph on the slide. Mistake number 2, no spelling mistake on the slide, no grammatical mistake on the slide. For spelling mistake, you can take help from spell check on the Microsoft Word. For grammatical mistake, you can take help from Grammarly.com. Now let's talk about the third most common mistake. That is putting a lot of bullets on your slides. I'll give you a minute. Read this slide. Now, I could have written all those bullet points in one bullet point, but I just wanted to make fun of this idea or of this mistake. And that's why I just put them down creatively one by one. But this is what many of us are victims of, isn't it? Most of the slides that we confront have bullet points in this manner. So interestingly, if people think that fine, I'm not going to put a paragraph, the next mistake they commit is they put a lot of bullet points on the slides. Now this is again a mistake. Please do not put a lot of bullet points on one slide. Now this slide, in a fun way, I've divided it into different bullets and it says avoid excessive bullet pointing. Only bullet key points. Key points over here means key terms. Too many bullet points overshadows your key messages. Of course, if you're going to give or if you're going to showcase this kind of slide to the audience, they would be hooked up with just the number. Your message, your main idea that you want to focus upon is going to be diluted. And we don't want that, right? So the solution, let's talk about the solution, what we should be doing. We should be using only 6 bullet points in one slide. The rule is 6 by 6. I would repeat, the rule is 6 by 6. Now the first 6 over here stands for 6 bullet points in one slide. And the other 6 over here stands for not more than 6 words in one bullet point. Please write that down if it's okay for you, if it's feasible for you, if you have a paper pen right now in your hands, because I just forgot to make a slide of it. Please put that down. 6 by 6 rule, 6 over 6. 6 over 6 rule means not more than 6 points in one slide. And the other 6 means not more than 6 words in one point. In the next class, I would show you an example of that, because right now I cannot type it on the PowerPoint slide. In the next class, I would show you an example of that too. So that will become more clearer, right? For the time being, remember 6 by 6 rule. And also, what people do is now interestingly, when we tell them that you are not allowed to use paragraphs, please do not use a lot of bullet points. The next mistake that they do is they start incorporating a lot of pictures in one slide. Now the 6 by 6 rule also applies to your incorporation of pictures on one slide. I'm just turning off my self-mute for a minute because I want to tell my children to be quiet. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, is my slide visible, Bache? Everybody, is my slide visible? Could somebody please volunteer? Slide visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The next mistake people make is they start thinking that fine, we are not going to put paragraphs, we are not going to put bullet points. The next fascination they have is with pictures. Let's put a lot of pictures on the screen, and people would, just fall in love with that. And, again, putting pictures is a very good idea. It's an advanced idea that you should be following in PowerPoint slide. But again, the problem is lot of pictures, lot of distraction. So this rule of 6 by 6 also applies to your usage of pictures on the PowerPoint slide. You can make a collage of pictures on the PowerPoint. What is a collage? Collage is the broken pieces of one picture or broken pieces of different pictures. And this trend is very common when you're trying to showcase a lot of tools and equipment and equations on one slide. So people try to be creative and fanciful, and this is how they present. So there's no harm in that. But again, please do not overdo. Not more than 6 or better yet, 4 pictures on one PowerPoint. And same goes for your bullet points. Ideal number on a PowerPoint is 3 main points. 6 is, I'm just giving you a room that might be, there's a very dire need to showcase everything. But please, 3 is ideal, 4 is better yet. 4 is like, of course you're going down again, but 3 is the ideal number. But you can go till 6, right? So not more than 6 pictures on one slide, not more than 6 bullet points on one slide, and not more than 6 words in one bullet point. Now, most of you would be thinking, how is it possible to declutter or edit your bullet point to that extent where you are just left with 6 words in one bullet point? Don't panic, you'll be doing an exercise on that, and you'll be learning that art too, right? Now let's talk about PowerPoint mistake number 4. Because we all are, right now you all are novice users of PowerPoint, you are newbies, you are falling in love with PowerPoint usage, and you're trying to, experiment a lot with it. But please, when you're experimenting with PowerPoint, a professional PowerPoint slide does not have a lot of color schemes. The more simple it is, the more graceful and sophisticated it would be. Because, when you are giving your presentations at university level, or, if you'll be giving me presentations, experimenting with colors would be fine. But as soon as you move to the corporate sector, the more simple it is, the more graceful and more elegant. And remember, PowerPoint slides are just there to act as your assistant. They are not your content, please. So do not try to play a lot with your PowerPoint slide. So bad color schemes are a big no-no. Don't try to be fanciful or funky by using orange or purple or these kind of dark colors. Just give me a minute again. I need to tell my just a minute, bete. Just a minute, bete. Ji, I'm back. Ji, bete, somebody had a question?
Yes, I had to ask. Up till headaches, it applies, but what about nausea and vomiting? Did that really happen?
Yes, this does happen. When you're bombarded with a lot of strange or weird looking material on the screen, you feel like, for example, I'll tell you a very interesting instance. Some days back, we were attending a conference, and there was a very, you might say, well qualified person, and he was giving a presentation in the afternoon. We just had our food, we just had a lunch, and we were sitting there listening to him. And, interestingly, a lot of bad color schemes started popping in his presentation, and a very bad usage of, color scheme and font scheme. And there was one, you won't believe that, but there was one person who actually said, I feel like vomiting right now. I cannot stand all that color scheme and animations. So this does happen. Of course, if you're already ill, if you're taking your lunch, you already want to doze off, because after lunch you mostly want to doze off, and because you want to doze off, to avoid that dozing off thing, you want to witness something interesting. And if the presenter is not giving you something interesting, might be you'll feel nausea. Nausea is headache or pain, right? Or migraine kind of thing. Or you would start feeling, of course you will not vomit categorically, but yes, metaphorically we can say that you feel like, oh my god, what am I looking at? This is so disgusting, right? Although it's very harsh to say that on the presenter part, but this is what we land over to, right? So this does happen, and might be, someday when you will be in your professional world, you would realize that there are people who actually give you these kind of faces, disgusting faces, that, oh my god, what are you showcasing? So I did not mean that categorically or literally they're going to vomit, but metaphorically this can happen, right? Did I make myself understandable?
It's actually very confusing, distracting.
Why is it confusing? Please clarify. Why is it confusing?
It is confusing in such a way that what are you trying to implement here? Each color represents an emotion message. So these are all different messages, these very small signs. How are you going to decode them? There's a problem. So that confuses people.
The point over here is that, as I just mentioned, that PowerPoint is over there just to assist you. You are not there to, you might say, just to not make PowerPoint such a kind of a monster that's going to eclipse your spoken content, right? Now, there are two kinds of contents, of course, that you're displaying in your presentation: your spoken content and your visual content. So do not make your visual content so dramatic, or you might say so irritating or so distracting that the people lose the message. For example, look, I'll just clarify you in this regard. What I mean to say is some people are in love with using a lot of font sizes and a lot of font colors. What I mean to
Yes.
say with this particular slide is do not stick to a lot of colors or do not experiment with a lot of colors in one slide. Getting my point? Because if you're going to
Yes, sir.
experiment with
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm interrupting you again. Very sorry.
no, it's
I
okay.
was
It's okay.
telling you, you are right in giving this example. This slide you have shown does lead to these points you have told.
Right,
I understand what you are trying to explain. I was
right,
just telling that these points do verify.
right. Okay, so fine. You were just, approving me. I thought that you
Yes.
were just, raising a claim or you're raising an argument in
No,
that regard. That's okay.
no, it's
Fine.
communication
So
barriers. Sorry.
no, no, that's okay. That's completely okay. So you are not going to use different kind of font styles if you're using Times New Roman, which is considered to be the most sophisticated font style, or if you're using Calibri or any kind of font style. Make sure you are not experimenting with a lot of font styles in one presentation. And same goes with color scheme. If you are trying to work with black and white, stick to black and white. Don't use black and white in one slide and orange and black in the other and purple and pink in the third one. Don't do that. Is everybody getting my point? Are we on the same track? Yes or no? Text. You can use in the chat. You can use the chat box for that, right? Okay. Great. So let's move on to the other slide. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the other slide. Okay, so the takeaways of this, let's not talk about takeaways. I think this slide should have come afterwards. Okay, right. So up till now, what we learned is in a PowerPoint slide, there's going to be 6 by 6 bullet points, and of course, just 6 number for the pictures. No text sentences. Now here the word sentences is very important. We are not going to write sentences on the slide. We are going to write phrases on the slide, right? And how are we going to do that? How are we going to declutter it? How are we going to make that phrase? I'm just going to train you on that. No paragraphs. One more thing that has become quite fashionable nowadays, people when they are writing on PowerPoint slides, when they are writing their bullet points, even when the bullet points talk about important terms and important ideas, what they're doing is they are highlighting those important terms or words. And by the word highlighting over here, I mean you can change the color of that word. For example, your bullet points are all in black color, right? But you want to highlight one word in one bullet point. What you can do is you can change that one word in red color. And this would help you to highlight that important word. So what would happen now? People are going to pay more attention to that highlighted word, again that one highlighted word, and of course the dissemination of information or the understanding of information would become easier, or the memorization of important ideas would become easier. Next, we just talked about devising phrases instead of sentences on the slide. We are going to use the strategy of decluttering. Decluttering means cleaning your slide. Clutter is, of course, mess, and declutter means clearing the mess. So we are going to clear the mess on our slide, and there are different strategies for that. We'll just work on that in the upcoming slides. And the other thing that you need to keep in mind is always try to use dark background. That helps the reader to read your slides. Now I have this exercise for all of you so that you can gain an idea what is meant by decluttering the information. Okay, fine. I'm giving you this one sentence and let's see how you people can trim this one sentence in few words. Now the rule number one, let me give you the rules first. The rule of decluttering is We do not use the, and articles in the slide. Try to get rid of the articles in the bullet points of the slide. When you're going to edit these articles, of course, you will be left with less words. Now, when you are left with less words, make sure you're using synonyms or you're using one word for a lot of words, right? For example, in this sentence, in the first sentence, read the last line. Within the next few days. Within the next few days. You can compress this phrase like this. In upcoming days. Did you notice that? Within the next few days is 5 words. In upcoming days is just 3 words. Message is the same, idea is the same, but you edited a lot of unnecessary information. This is what you do when you design your bullet points. You do not add unnecessary details or ideas. What do you do with those unnecessary details? You save them for your spoken presentation. You discuss them verbally. You do not put them on the slide. Remember the first slide I showed you today? Do not write everything you have to speak on the slide. Okay, now let's do this exercise. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Read the first sentence and then let me know how you can trim this sentence into lesser words or in a bullet point or in a phrase. How can you do that? Read the first sentence and try doing it. Firstly, trim the articles. Get rid of the articles, the, and. Secondly, try using one word for a lot of words. And thirdly, edit all the unnecessary information. These are 3 rules of decluttering your slide. Let's see how you can apply it in your first sentence. I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Kashyap, you're too quick, mera bacha. So good to see that, my dear. But we'll wait for the other students, bete. Kashyap has already done the first one. Kashyap, if you're done with the first one, but you move on to the second and then third, bete. And I would, appreciate if you would just use pen and pencil and try, editing on the paper. That would become a better activity rather than just doing it verbally. Okay, roll number 130. Very good. Roll number 25. Very good. Super. Ramesh, just a little mistake, mera bacha. Omar Rafiq, a little mistake. Omar Rafiq, better go through your sentence again. You would identify the mistake, Omar Rafiq. Take a paper and pencil, everybody. Please, try to trim the sentence the maximum you can. And I'll give marks today for the one who is going to submit the correct answers. Take a paper and pen. I'm giving you 5 minutes. Do it on paper and pen and try trimming the sentence as much as you can. The best answer would be that's going to be expressed in fewest words. Sorry. I'm giving you all 5 minutes for this activity and then I'll be announcing the roll number and that roll number is going to answer me only. Roll number 20, good answer, but this is not complete. You're missing a very important part of information, bete. Recheck your answer. The best answer would be that would be expressed in the fewest words. I repeat. Keep on editing, but do not miss the important information, please. You have to do all three. Do all three, please. Two more minutes to go. Revise your answers, please. Roll number 74, good. Faizan Rafiq, good. Roll number 39. Roll number 39, better check your answer again of professional growth 1. Yazan Hasnain, better there's still some mistake in the university one. Check your answer again, better. You can trim it much better. Ammar Akhtar. Better go through your university answer again. You can still trim it in a much better manner. Aram. Roll number 65. Updated schedule coming soon. Check your answer again, better. Updated schedule of what, mera bacha? You're missing the important information. You have to give me complete information. Please remember. Please text your answers in the chat box. I'm reading them. I'm reading them from there. Excuse me. Mohammed Hamza. Beta, you have designed your answer well, but I think there's still some unnecessary usage of words. Hamza beta, it is very well designed, but I think you can still make it more efficient. I'm talking about Hamza. I'm talking about the advisor one. Hamza, advisor one. Excuse me.
Actually, ma'am, I was just going to put our answers in the chat, or you are going to ask one.
You can do that. You can do that in the chat. You can do that in the chat, chat. You can do that in the chat. Put that down in the chat. Ehtisham Anwar. Beta, you completely changed the meaning. College students should take good counseling for their careers. You completely changed the meaning, beta. Check your answer again. Roll number 116. Very good. You actually gave me the 3 answers collectively. Very good. That's a good idea too. Roll number 116. Better check your answer number 1 again. Row number 116, very good. Your answer number 2 is good, but I can still see some one unnecessary word in answer number 2. Row number 116, check that out. Raimi. One more minute to go. Please type in your answers. Row number 130. Bete, you wrote, your opinion is important for us than advisor. No, Bete, I don't think so. This is actually encapsulating the idea given in question number 2, Bete. Check your answer again. And please, I just told you, do not use unnecessary words. You, the usage of you, they, we, this is unnecessary, along with articles. A and the, that I've already told you is unnecessary. Next I advise to you is, please don't use you, we, they. Start with proper nouns, but don't use he, they, we. Roll number 25. Wide opportunity for growth. Beta, where? Good. Wide opportunity for growth, but where, beta? Faik Irfan. The university schedule will be announced soon. I just told you, beta. Edit the and. No articles, please. आपने तो पहली सेंटेंस में मिस्टेक कर दी है. Abdul Rahman. Our university provides wide professional opportunities. Beta, there's no point of using R over here. I think if you're going to skip R, even then the message would be transferred. Isn't it, Faik? Soto? Row number 110. I liked the new way. I like the new style of writing that you used. लेकिन इसको थोड़ा और देखो, you can still trim it. Row number 116, supposedly it was. Excuse me. Excuse me. I mean, okay, let's go for the answers. I'm starting with the answers, ladies and gentlemen. Shall I? Is everybody done? Well, there were some very interesting answers offered by so many of the students. But let's go for the answers now. Okay, in the first sentence, everybody please submit your answers, Vijay, in the chat box, everybody, so that we can move on. Even if you do not know the answer, even if you're confused, do give it a go. Do try coming up with right answers, right? I'm not asking for complete correct answers. I just want you to have a hand-on experience of revising your bullet points on the slides, right? Oh my God, Abdullah Sabur. Such a complicated usage of language. Please keep your language simple, Sabur. Abdullah Sabur. I like the word collegiates, but then please check out the sentence furthermore. Waji Ahmed, very good. Excellent, Waji Ahmed. Okay, let's talk about the answers. Everybody, please. The first sentence is, it is expected that the new schedule will be announced by the university within the next few days. Our first task is eliminate all the articles, the, an. We have a lot of the new schedule, the can be removed from here. The university, the can be removed from here. The again, the next few days, it can be removed from here. Let's declutter it more. Now let's compose it in few words rather than using a lot of words. Within the next few days can be compressed into soon, right? You can also use soon. Instead of saying within the next few days or in upcoming days, you can use one word, that is soon. Super. Now, within the next few days, we have soon. We have eliminated all the articles. Let's move on to the necessary and unnecessary information. In this sentence, it is expected that the. Till here, we do not need to write on the slide. We can start with new schedule will be announced by the university soon. Now, I told you that the best phrase or the best sentence or the best bullet point would be that is expressed in far more lesser words. Now, the main idea lies over here. The new schedule will be announced by the university soon. Let's trim it more. New schedule of university or university's new schedule. University's new schedule will be announced soon. I was looking in the chat box and there was one student who wrote, stay tuned for the new schedule. Stay tuned for the university's new schedule. Very good. I don't remember who wrote that, stay tuned, but that's a very latest style of writing, although you call it journalistic writing. But that's a very good style. Stay tuned for university's new schedule. Very good. Excellent, right? So the more you would compress it, the more beauty your bullet points would present. Rahimeen? Let's check out the next sentence, please. College students must become aware of the fact that there's a need for them to make contact with an academic advisor before choosing their majors. So a lot of important ideas lying in this sentence. Let's trim them one by one. First of all, eliminate articles. The fact, eliminate the. A need, eliminate a. An academic advisor, eliminate an. Their majors, eliminate their. Eliminate unnecessary pronouns and articles from your bullet point. Step number 2. Let's see how we can compress more words in one sentence. College students must become aware. Must become aware, you might say enlightened. Or you can say must be, let's see if we can, must become aware of the fact, must be enlightened, or must know this. Instead of saying must become aware of the fact, you can write must know this. Let's trim it more. College students, till here it is important, college students must make contact with an academic advisor before choosing their majors. This is the important idea that we can trim more on. So what we can write is, contact your advisors, or you can say college students must contact their advisors before choosing majors. This is how we can trim it more. If you're going to write advice for college students, it's going to, of course, add more words to the bullet point. So we don't need that. So we can just say college students contact, or you can say, in fact, this would be the best idea. College students must contact their academic advisors before choosing majors. The last sentence, in our university, there are exciting, wide open opportunities for professional growth. These are the important, you might say, phrases that we can see over here. Let's trim the articles. Our, not necessary. Their, not necessary. Now let's see how we can compress too many words in one word. Exciting, wide open opportunities. We do not need to use the word exciting, wide open with opportunities. We do not need to describe opportunities because opportunities in itself is a positive word, and it means that we are talking about something exciting. So you do not need to add unnecessary adjectives or adverbs to a noun, right? So it's going to be opportunities available for professional growth. Or you can say, university offers opportunities for professional growth. Simple. No need of any unnecessary information. Hope this exercise let you understand the, you might say, the main idea behind how to clean your bullet points. Please text yes if you have understood the idea. How many of you actually understood? Please text yes so that I'll be encouraged to move ahead. Okay, good. I can see a lot of yes. That's very good. Is there somebody who is still confused? Is there some student who is still confused, Vita? Please text me because then I would like to work more on this activity. So you enjoy doing that, I hope, right? I enjoy doing that with you people. I don't know if you enjoyed it or not, but I enjoyed it, right? So, and I've always enjoyed this special slide with with any of my class that I'm teaching. Okay, good. So we'll move ahead because there are a lot of approvals coming up in the chat box. We'll move to the next slide. So let's recap this slide. Rule number 1. I'm sorry, I'm repeating again, but this is for your processing of information because right now we are also facing the problem of saving the videos. So I'm, repeating it again and again. And I would request you, if you've got paper, pencil with you, please put please put the bullet points on your paper, right? Number 1, when you're decluttering, and of course, when you would be graded in your presentation, you would be marked, you would be given marks for giving precise information in bullet points on the slide. And there, this strategy of decluttering would work for you. So rule number 1, eliminate all the pronouns, articles. Rule number 2, use one word where you can use a lot of words, compress the words. And number 3, use only key information. Abdullah Sabur is asking, can we have a word for professional growth? Well, Abdullah Sabur, was it Abdullah Sabur? I don't remember the name, by the way. Yes, Abdullah Sabur, if we can actually, do some research on that, we can find a better word for professional growth, or we can, you raised a very good point. We can come up with one word for professional growth. But right now, immediately, I'm unable to come up with one word for professional growth. But I think if you're going to think on it, might be we can come up with that word, right? So why don't you think for it and let us also let us know that too, so that we've been cooperating it, right? But right now, immediately, I'm unable to come up with exactly one word that can go for professional growth. Okay. Now, after this decluttering the information, the next thing that we're going to work on is how to present images on the PowerPoint slide. Because I know writing text on the slide is very, very easy. You just have to, just put the text on it and that's it. But then choosing the important pictures, we talked about in the previous session, again, it's difficult. But when you are done with choosing important pictures, or you might say relatable pictures, I hope you could recall, what did I tell you about pictures? I would rephrase it again, or I would just, give you the, you might say, the gist of that session again. We talked about pictures, that pictures are of two types: positive images and negative images, right? So if you are talking about something serious, the picture has to be very, very emotional, or something that can, relate to the audience. This is what we talked about. So pictures also talk to the audience, right? So when we are choosing pictures, make sure we are choosing the pictures that can connect to the mental setback of the audience. Okay? This is more important. Okay. Let's do a sample presentation right now. I have collected some slides, and let's go for a sample presentation. Of course, I've chosen a very technical subject because all of you, you will not be giving presentation of soft skills like leadership or time management or things like that. You would be giving technical presentations, right? So I have just collected my slides and samples on that technical slides or technical topics. Topic, for example, you are given a topic of digital acquisition system sampling. I've deliberately chosen a very technical subject so that you all can relate to it, because you'll be giving technical presentations in other subjects. Now, for example, your topic is digital acquisition system sampling. Now, please do not come up with this thing, ma'am. We do not understand what digital acquisition means, or we do not understand what is the background. I know you people might have no idea what digital acquisition is, but just suppose we are doing a topic on digital acquisition system sampling, because you all are electrical engineers. And in that topic, you want to present to the audience these 4 bullet points, right? I'm giving you a minute. Please read these 4 bullet points of digital acquisition system sampling. Dinal Baji, I'm giving you a minute. Please read this out. Dinal Baji. Now, this is the kind of slide that you mostly encounter when your professors or when your teachers or when your presenters, any kind of presenter, one is given a topic, a technical topic, mostly you come up with this kind of slide. That's a very easy slide to make, by the way. You just type, you use Word and, you use the basic template of PowerPoint, and this is the data you would get. You just place bullet along with it. Now let's read it one by one. In digital acquisition system sampling, there's a vibration that is measured by accelerometer. There's an analog voltage that produced. There's sinusoidal shape. It's of sinusoidal shape. Next bullet point the presenter wants to talk about is this analog signal can be converted to a digital signal. Third bullet point that the presenter wants to speak on is signal is sampled at a specific rate. And fourth bullet point that the presenter is going to talk on is the rate. Rate is high enough to retain analog shape. Now this is all kind of text form. The methodology that is being showcased to us, it's in kind of words and in kinds of bullet points. Now bullet points are a very good idea. You know, till some years back, till a decade back, it was a very good idea. People used bullet points and they used to express their point of views. But with the passage of time, with evolution of presentation skills, bullet points have diluted. Now pictures have taken the place of bullet points. Now this same slide can be presented in a better manner with the help of some pictures. How? Look at this one. The first picture shows you the measurement device, which is then showing the wavelength. The third picture is showing you the converter. And the fourth picture is showing you the exact picture what happens when it is converted. And the process is the same. What we did, we just swapped the words with the pictures. And not only with pictures, we presented our pictures in sequence. Now, how many of you, when you looked at this picture, the method or the process became more easy for you? Text yes to me. Text yes in the chat box. I would like to see how many of you were able to understand the same phenomena, the same process, but in a better manner in this way. I'm actually disturbing you again and again to text in the chat box because, of course, I do not have the option of looking at your faces. See? So that's the difference the picture makes. Can you see that? Did you realize the importance of the picture? Okay. Can anybody identify? Can anybody identify? Can anybody identify a mistake in this slide? Identify a mistake in this slide. Text me. Write it down in the chat box. Come on, use your creative muscles. Put that down in the chat box if you can identify one mistake. I would call it a mistake, I'm sorry, because I'm very critical. But for some of you might be, there's no mistake. Last picture. Well, Let me just give you a hint. Let me give you a hint. The mistake is not in the last picture. The mistake is in somewhere else. It's not in the picture. No, no, no. I'm talking about the mistake in this slide, beta. In this slide. No. Okay, fine. Very good. Very good. I would agree that all the pictures are not titled. Very good. Super. Excellent. Thank you very much for that valuable contribution. What else? Title. Super. Excellent. Excellent. The title. I would not agree with a lot of words utilized in the title. Yes, the text sentence. Very good. Super. No, somebody is texting me, ma'am, let's get rid of the title. No, 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 no. We can't do that. A title is a very important component of a slide, mera bachcha. We can't get rid of that. The title has to be there. Yes, all the pictures should have been named, but then the mistake over here lies in the title. The title could have been compressed, could have been in our language that we just learned. What did we learn right now? Decluttered. We could have decluttered the information in the title. Right? Yes. Thank you very much. I'm so glad everybody is, I feel like everybody is connected to whatever I'm teaching. I'm so glad. Good job. So we could have decluttered the title. And the title could have been simply Digital Acquisition System. That's it. Not more than that. Because every other information is available in the pictures. With me or not? Yes or no? Yes, title could have been short or it could have been decluttered. Okay, ji. Now I'll show you one more picture. Now these pictures that I'm showing you, by the way, they are displaying data. Shh. The pictures that I'm showing you, they are displaying data, by the way, right? And I'm showcasing you how technical people or how engineers can basically show their information in the form of data. Okay, since 1952, traffic across the bridge has grown exponentially. And the presenter has shown the picture of a bridge. He has shown a downward arrow, giving us the data of how many vehicles were introduced in which year. And we have a picture of a bridge. Now, how many of you find this picture convincing? Type yes or no. I just want yes or no right now. Okay, good, 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 good. Super. Everybody is saying no. Very good. I'm impressed. So we are on the same platform. Very good. So it's 1952. Traffic across the bridge has grown exponentially. Now, had we been having a face-to-face conversation, I would have questioned you that why do you think it's not appropriate? But unfortunately, it's not a face-to-face interaction going on right now. But every one of you is right. Now, text me in one word. What is irritating in this picture? Now text me what is irritating to you in the picture. Come on, come on. Text me. Okay. Roll number 4 says, what does that arrow show? Kashyap shows downward arrow. No, Kashyap, that's okay, beta. Downward arrow is okay. Okay, Juma Azan is being said at my place. So we'll be quietly listening to it till the Azan ends. Okay, Ji, thank you very much for all the cooperation today. And I have received some wonderful answers, excellent answers. I could just record one or two with me right now because, of course, there's a bombardment of chat going on and I'm missing the answers. But roll number 22, I like the answer roll number 22 gave. Roll number 22 says, it seems like emphasis is on C rather than vehicles. Very good. Excellent, very critical approach to the picture. I'm so sorry about the door going off and on. My kids are actually doing that. I've just asked them not to do that. Okay, so very good. And yes, Kashav says that it's an empty bridge. When it says traffic across the bridge, it should give an idea that yes, traffic across the bridge has grown. And then somebody also said, I have missed the row number, but he's talking about the model of the car. Yes, the model of the car seems to be a very outdated one, I agree. But, Mera Bacha, could you please see that the year? We're talking about 1952. So yes, we could have, incorporated a new model. I wouldn't disagree with that. But, might be wanted to give an impression of 1952. Well, let's see. Let me show you let me show you a picture that is a better version of this. And let's see if you could call it a better version or not. Because, I found you excellent critics. So I would leave to you. Okay, how many of you find this picture good? Yes or no? Is this a better version of the other one? Yes or no? Still no? Okay. I am so impressed. You all have some serious critical eyes, I swear. Because, none of my trainees have ever said that, in such a big number, that this is straight away no. Very good. Okay, fine. Okay, good. I'm impressed. Let's move on to the same slide and I'll show you another version of this slide. Can I present it like this? Ladies and gentlemen. Can I present it like this? Well, so many of you are saying no, and I'm unable to understand why you're saying no, at least at this point. Well, some people are saying, ma'am, they're still looking annoying. Okay, fine. The first picture of this traffic across the bridge, the first one, this was definitely annoying because there seems to be no relationship of the bridge and the car. Second picture, I agree. It became better because it gave you more information in the form of 1961. Somebody is saying, ma'am, yes, Kashif is saying, ma'am, it's graphically annoying. Kashif, I think you're saying that because you're a girl. But for boys, it would be a definitely different version. And somebody is saying, ma'am, no, because no more pictures than 6, roll number 186. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Mera Bacha. You're absolutely right, not more than 6 pictures. And I'm so glad that, you recalled your comprehension in that regard. But this picture, using 6 or more than 6 pictures, especially if you're showing a data, that doesn't harm, right? Now tell me how many of you, Umar Rafiq is saying we should have a picture of traffic flow on the bridge. Yes, very good. That's a different dimension that we can show to the audience. And Heather Ali is saying, ma'am, it doesn't explain too much traffic. And row number 56 is saying it is not showing any comparison. Row number 56. Why are you saying that, beta? It definitely shows comparison, Mera Bacha. How can you say that it is not showing any comparison? I'm sorry, I'm not able to relate to it. It is definitely showing a comparison. How come? Look at this first year, 1952, right? Then we move on to 1.1 million, 1961. The idea is we are trying to show the people that since 1952, traffic has risen exponentially. Exponentially means in multiple numbers, right? So we started from 1952, we moved on to 1961, and then to 2019. And these more number of cars shows that the traffic has increased. But yes, there was one child who said that, ma'am, if we are incorporating the word bridge, then the traffic on the bridge could have been shown. That's a much better idea. Using same car, Gul Khan, don't you think there should be a synonymity or uniformity? Acha, Gul Khan, I would like to extend your point of view. Gul Khan is saying Ma'am, why the usage of same car? Look, now here, if you're going to use different cars, it's going to create a strain on the eyes. So in order to keep it uniform, in order to keep it digestible, they have used the same car. Gulkhan, try using the same, try making the same slide, Gulkhan, with different cars, and you would feel annoying. You would not feel good. And Kashyap is saying, I think should have given just a bar chart or a line graph rather than any. Yes, Kashyap, but the choices are enormous, right? There are huge number of choices, Kashyap, that you can play on, bete, right? But this is just one idea. Ferrari could have been shown to have a more greater impact. Okay, roll number 166. You seem to be in love with Ferrari, but I think even this car would be okay. No problem with that, right? Okay. And then this pic looks like we have entered a room full of mirrors. Roll number 179. Well, different people and different opinions, right? But this is the fun that we are going to have when all of you are going to present and when we are going to critically dissect. Oh, Mavia Adil has been a champion. He has sent me a picture. You'll be able to see in the chat box. Very good, Mavia. Super speed and super comprehension. Excellent. Thank you very much. I loved your contribution. Very good, Mavia. Okay, Shazak is of the view that repeated picture, ma'am, is not creating illustrated. It's illustrating growth. Well, Shazak, I don't agree with that, beta. I think the repeated picture is creating an illusion of growth, beta. But that's your point of view, and I respect that. And yes, roll number 122 is saying that yes, if we had used different cars, then bad color scheme would have, might popped up. So it again, when we are going to have the presentation, and I'm going to have a presentation session with you, this is what we are going to dissect. How far you have aesthetically presented your data, right? So we would end over here because it's 1 o'clock and it's about to be the end of my class. This is the summary slide, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, one more thing. Can you see the heading once again? Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I have an objection with the heading. Yes or no? Objection with the heading again. Traffic, or you can say multiple, or you can say increase in traffic since 1952, isn't it? Or we could have decluttered it more. Let's look at the summary slide. This is the conclusion summary slide. Instead of just using bullet points for your summary, what you can do is, again, you can take the help of a picture. We are giving a summary of high concentrations of acetic acid protect steel from corrosion, right? We can, of course, declutter this sentence by just saying that high concentration of acetic acid protects steel. That's it. We don't need to say corrosion, because the picture underneath it is actually a quite it's giving a very clear idea that how it's going to be protected. It can be protected from corrosion, right? So just give this picture, label it with adsorbed HO allows the growth of siderite. We have shown, instead of writing these bullet points, ladies and gentlemen, we can showcase them, we can display them with this illustration, right? Okay, now we're going to end our presentation over here, but a food for thought, a question for all of you. In the next class, what could have been a better way to show this last slide? This is your homework for the next class. You need to think on that what could have been a better way for showcasing this summary slide. I'm not talking about these slides, everyone. I'm just talking about this summary slide. I want you to think on this and come back to me on the next Thursday. And I want your answers on next Thursday, that what can be a better way to describe this slide. Okay? I want all of you to think on that. Think on the medium that we have discussed in the first class. There can be different medium for showcasing your knowledge, for showcasing your data. Think on all this and come up with any other idea that you can showcase this slide. This brings us to the end of this session. I hope you all learned a lot today. And of course, you enjoyed too, because then my primary objective is always that enjoyment should be there along with the knowledge, right? Along with the transfer of knowledge. So on that note, I would leave all of you for your Jummah prayers. Pray for everybody who's around you. Pray for whole Pakistan. Pray for everybody who's sick, please. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you from every evil. Thank you very much. Stay
Excuse
happy.
me,
Take
miss.
care.
Excuse me, miss.
Gigi.
Please repeat the question.
My question was, can you see this slide right now in front of you, Bete?
Yes, miss.
Fine. My question is, in the next class, just come up with an idea how you can present the same slide in any other way. I've given you one choice, I've given you one option. This is the way you can present this slide. One option can be make a diagram, right? Label it and present it instead of just writing bullet points, right? I want you to think on some other way in which this information could have been presented. Okay? Do give it a thought. This is not a mark gaining exercise, mark gaining activity, but I want you to think on these lines. Okay? Got it?
Ma'am, there will be no class on Monday.
There'll be no class on Monday, beta. There'll be class on Thursdays and Friday. But I'll let you know. I'll confirm you with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Right? I'll let you know. Okay, Ji. Thank you very much. Any other question, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up this session? No questions? You can turn on your mic. Okay? I can hear somebody taking pictures. I think that's a very good idea because nowadays we are facing the problem of uploading the videos. So I think it's a very good idea. I could hear somebody taking pictures. So next time when you're taking lectures on your desktop, that's a very good idea. Take pictures of the slides. Thank you very much, whoever was taking, and it gave me an idea. So that's a very good idea. You can continue taking lectures because audio is available. The next alternate can be audio is always available to you. You can hear my sound when I upload the video, but you cannot see the slides, right? That was the problem. So what you can do is always take the pictures of the slides if you want to. Okay, Ji, thank you very much. Okay, roll number 77. Why are you crying? Why sad face, roll number 77? I didn't get it. Okay, fine. So we'll be meeting on Thursday, and if we'll be meeting on Friday, I'll let you know. Till then, take care, have fun. Allah Hafiz.